Earnings season has shown the recession thesis just doesn't hold up under close scrutiny.
Thank you.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So Jim Cramer coming out saying that we're not going to get a recession. So that prompted me to make this meme, of course, about taking profits. And, I have seen that sentiment across the board has gotten very bullish. So I'm actually becoming a little bit skeptical of the markets right now. I want to take you guys back to January of this year. This is a video I put out in January of 2023. Just this year, beginning of the year, where we were talking about Bitcoin going to 30,000. Now, you may look at this and say, well, yeah, wasn't that obvious? It actually wasn't obvious to people. Do you remember how bearish people were at the beginning of the year? How skeptical everyone was post FTX that we were going to go to 10K? The bearish speculation hit record levels in this time period. Now, I want to jump into this video to show you guys a prediction that we made on this channel that was really just perfect as of this week. In this video, I discussed the S&P 500 daily RSI, the target I had, and also where Bitcoin would likely go if the target was reached. So let's look at the video. And now it's about to happen again, but it's happening at the downtrend line. And so if we just take the average there between 10 and 13, that is about 11.5% or so of an expected rally. And if we do get the average breakout size that we got on the previous RSI downtrend breakouts, that would send the S&P up to about 4,500. So 4,500 is the expected upside target for the S&P, and that could take several months to actually achieve that target. And on average, Bitcoin goes up 30% from that breakout point on the S&P, and that would land Bitcoin at $30,000. So there's actually a really good chance in my mind that we actually see more upside than most people expect. So that video, we discussed that if we broke the macro downtrend line with this RSI breakout for the S&P 500, it would likely lead to an 11.5% move up towards 4,500. And if we go to the S&P right now and we take a look at where we are, we've done exactly that. And we are at 4,500 right now. So this move has been fulfilled. Not only that, Bitcoin is at where? 30,000. So that prediction was spot on. Now, I also want to discuss the video that I put out the day after this on January 25th of 2023, where we said huge pump, then crash end of year. And let me just play the clip from this video so we can discuss it. I mean, 30,000 is a pretty reasonable target. It is a macro support from 2021, but also the falling wedge breakout says 50,000. But regardless, if it's 30, 40, 50, I think that we're probably going to retest back down into the low 20,000s once again at some point at the end of the year. On this channel, we've created a theory recently where essentially the reason why the markets are going up right now, or at least attempting to go up, is that they're anticipating the Fed pausing rates. And I think markets will rally into the Fed pausing rates. But what's also very prevalent is that every time the Fed pivots, we crash. So that's the thing that's going to also be a mind twister for people. Everyone thinks the Fed pivot is just bullish, but actually the Fed pivot is historically extremely bearish. So market rallies up into where the Fed pauses, and then when they pivot, markets crash, and which is going to be the exact opposite of what the crowd expects. The crowd has been trained at this point to believe that a Fed pivot equals up, but that's not how it goes. Okay, so in that video, what you guys saw was we were talking about our theory that the Fed was likely going to begin pausing or begin the pause, the rate hike pause, to then eventually pivot, and that would be sort of the catalyst for actually a bearish trend. Historically, during Fed pivots and Fed pauses, we get some of the most bearish price action, very contrary to what people are told. But then, of course, a bull market follows thereafter. So now my question is it the time? Is now the time where Bitcoin would get more sideways action before the halving and then going bullish later? Are we about to hit that period, or do we have yet another leg up before getting our major downtrend going into the halving where we go ballistic? That's really the question here, and I think it will be driven by the stock market. The S&P is now down today. We have the bearish divergence on the daily chart, and if we do break this uptrend line, that could signal that we have a longer term pullback coming for the stock market, where we see a further downtrend before maybe getting bullish into 2024. And that would allow Bitcoin to settle up at the low 20 range, maybe even hit the teens again briefly, settle up before the halving run. The more accumulation will actually allow the expansion to be greater. So this is not a bad thing. I know a lot of people think it's the end of the world. It just means things are going to be a little bit more boring for the next few months. That's really all it means. And it's not a bad thing. You can actually buy Bitcoin cheaper, most likely, if this does play out, if this theory plays out, right? Where we have huge pump and crash end of year. Now, since the beginning of the year, we've gotten those targets to hit. I mean, the most accurate videos I've made were actually the ones made at the beginning of the year. And so now I'm actually looking back at my original prediction saying, you know what, this seems to be the most accurate right now. So I should probably just stick with the original prediction. And that basically just means we're likely going to have some sideways now, that things may actually cool off. It doesn't mean we can't see the S&P hit another high and pull back, right? It doesn't mean we can't see Bitcoin hit another high and then pull back. That's always possible, but it could be an exit pump. That is my sort of warning here. As everyone starts to get really bullish now, I'm getting skeptical. If you guys like this kind of content, you got to subscribe, smash the like button, and also support me on Patreon. And by doing that, you can access my VIP chat. Check out all the links below, and I'll see you all in the next video.